regarding the COVID-19 and the right of refugees. Is it right? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Excuse
Okay.
me, Professor.
Okay. Yeah.
The COVID-19 regarding the refugee will be the agenda for 18th of November. The topics of refugee will be the 18th of November. So today.
Okay.
Okay. So today's topic will be with the students of organization who doing a moot court session, international moot court session.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So is there have any specific date? Sorry, is there any specific topic they want me to deliver, or
yes, no. They will explain something regarding the international competition, and since Mr. Pulung told us that you also teach several students in UKM regarding the international competition, so maybe you can share your experience regarding the international competition, and then they will also share the experience. So maybe both of the parties can share the experience.
Okay. All right. If there is a case like that, it's more like an open discussion on how we have to prepare ourselves and also how to handle ourselves during the international competition. Okay. I think that is a very good, because we also have until 2 o'clock. So I think I want to talk on regarding sharing the experience handling or coaching the group. First is Jessup mode. Second, Low Asia, and the third one is regarding the international outer space. Okay, but I think the outer space is the least popular, because in Malaysia is only my university offer outer space law as an elective, and others they don't. So every year without fail we have to go to bring Malaysian name, yeah. And I think the best achievement that we did is we won in Sydney, and then we went to Paris, and in Paris we met about 18 group, and we managed to be the best 4. That was happened around 2016, yeah. So that is the best for the outer space. And I think for JSET mode, that is not easy, because we have many law schools in Malaysia, but UKM experienced that we won the best memorial, we also won the best mooters, but to go to final, normally we were only at the semi-final, because we have another like International Islamic University, University of Malaya, they all always always either one will be winner. So, but we not give up. We will not give up. But I think the experience is very important. And then regarding the Law Asia also is a very stiff competition. So far, we also like Jason Mood. We win the memorials. We win at the time we win the best mooter. Okay. First of all, if I can say that all of you enjoy or doing the mootings competition, I think all of you must know that as a law student, you must enjoy or you must join the debate competition. I don't understand if there is a law student but very afraid to talk. Yeah, that's not good. Actually, the best for the law student to differentiate yourself with any other student in other faculty. I'm not saying that we are elite, but actually, yes, I'm saying that because people can know. We as a people have a legal background. We don't talk rubbish. We talk with facts and evidence. So if you don't know what is the fact, we don't want to talk, and we know what is the evidence that can prove the fact, we don't want to take the case. Okay, so in this case, when you're talking about what is the preparation for you to have as a mooters before you facing the competition itself. Okay, first of all, you must have a good intention, or you yourself really want to be a mooter. It's not people ask you. It's not your lecturer say, oh no, if you don't become a mooters, I cut your mark. No, it cannot be like that. It must be voluntarily from you. You say, I want to be a mooter. I want to represent my university, my country. If I can, I want to develop myself, because through the mooting, activities, you actually stimulate your brain, and you actually also start to be multitasking and start to know how to to do the research, and also how to you got so many information, but which information that's really needed for your memorial or for your debating. So first of all, it must become voluntarily, cannot be forced by anyone. First. Second, what type of competition that you really love? Are you want to join Jessup Mood? Because Jessup Mood, you need to be capable in any topic of international law. Second, if you want to talk about human rights, okay, you can go for the debate, which is debate or mooting regarding human rights, or any other types, according to what you believe you can do. Because mooting and debating is about, if you debate, you need a very good cooperation from all other members. But if you're doing a mooting, not only you have to have a good relationship with all of your member, your writing of memorials must also very good. So how to produce a good memorials? How to produce a good debater, a good mooter? What we can do? Okay, first, as I said, is voluntary. After the voluntary, you choose what type of law that you want to deal with. If it's human right, you go for the debate or the mooting regarding human right. It's up to you. But normally, students want to feel prestigious. Students want to test whether they can really do it or not. So many of us students want to join JSEP mode. Okay. To join JSEP mode, I think it's very good, but needs a lots of sacrifice. Many of my students, they don't want to go for JSEP mode except for those who are really there to do it. Because it needs a lot of time, it needs a lot of discussion, it needs a lot of time for you and your friend to sit down. And students in Malaysia, they are more like, I don't want to do all those co-curricular activity. I want to be excel in my study. Whereas they're wrong. Because for me, if you excel in your study, then you are books. You're not a human being. Study law is not study science. Law is not 1 + 1 become 2. That is engineering. For us, 1 + 1 could be 0, could be 20, could be 30. And how you prove and you make sure the fact is there, then you can prove it. That's why law is very different. You cannot put law with some other courses or any other stream, because we on our own. Okay, so if you already know what you want to do, you must well versed in that law. Of course, as a student, you say, I don't know anything. I doing this debate or this mooting because I want to improve myself. Okay, very good. Because why? First of all, when you want to present yourself, you must know what to talk and what do you have to talk. So you cannot simply go to the stage and talking nonsense. You must have a fact, especially mooting. You must really carry yourself as an advocate solicitor or as a solicitor. That's important. You yourself must have an attitude as a solicitor. You know, become a law student, you yourself have the attitude of as a law student. It makes you different from other students in university. The way you walk, the way you handle yourself, people know that you are from a law faculty. But if people cannot differentiate you with other faculty, then you must develop your attitude, your skill to appear with people, and also you need to be more confident. Yeah. Okay. After you know that, for example, you say, okay, I want to go for the JSEP mooting. All right. JSEP moot, normally every year they will come out with a different question, but they give a long time for you before the national round or the international round. Okay. First of all, when you see the JSEP mood, you can see their question is about 17, 18, 20 pages. That's also another threat to the student. They not even understand anything, they run away because they see the question also 17 to 20 pages. Actually, that is a tactics. That's a tactics. Why I say it's tactics? Because the person who, do that question, they want to see how sharp you are when you detect anything from the compromise. So what you do is, are you really ready to spend a lots of time doing research when you do your mooting? because you need to sacrifice. Sacrifice means I'm not ask you to leave your class. Your study is your ultimate. You can't run away. This debate or this student organization is really a couple for to make you more better and more talented when you graduate. But it's really help you when after you graduation, because if you are the student who just stay at the campus and don't do nothing, I think you don't have a good resume to start. But if you are a student that really good at study but also very active in a co-curriculum, that's really an additional value for you, and you must have that. I think you cannot just become a simple or normal law student after graduate. Then people will not remember you. You must make something that people will always remember you. Okay, if you want to join Jessup Mode, you must really to sacrifice. What I mean sacrifice, you have to do research. Because to do your memorial, you need to do research. Your lecturer just only can handle or coach you, but cannot write for you. So your ability is going to be questioned and being tested when you do the Jessup Mode. Many of my students, when they do Jessup Mode, normally we give them a special room where this is only Jessup Mooters only can go. Because why? Because they need to put a lot of photocopy, a lot of books, a lot of journal, because they want to match with what they write in their memorials. So for me, in this case, you also have to do the same. If you really want to sacrifice your study, not your study, your time, and also to at the same time you do not neglect your study, so you can choose international. You can use Jessup Mode. Jessup Mode is for me is a very challenging for any law student, because inside that there the whole of component of international law is there. They might be the sources, it could be the sovereignty, it could be jurisdiction, it's like terrorism, law of the sea, anything that they think they can create a question and look at you whether you're aware or not, how to dig that things. So how to dig the things if you don't do research? And how to do the research? By reading. So if you don't have a time even to flip newspaper every day, forget about it, because you need to dig down. But most important, the student who want to join the Jessup Mode, they must have many, I can say, they must have at least a background of international law. Normally, I will advise the student who already in my university, the students start to take PIL, Public International Law, as a compulsory subject when they was at the year 3 or 3rd year. So normally the Jessup Mooters is always from the 3rd year and final year, because the final year already learned the international law during the 3rd year. So this is a very important, because lecturers cannot tell the student and teach the student when they want to do a mooting or debating. The student must have the background on it, you know. So if you already learn international law, so easy for you. When the people talking about customary international law, you already know what it's all about. If people talking about law of the sea, you say, okay, you know. But if you don't been there before, they say, what is that? What is this? So I think that one it's not help you to be a good mooters or debaters. That's one. Second, you need to sacrifice. I mean, you have to read a lot, because by reading, you can differentiate. If you're not a person that not love to read, you cannot do debates or mooting, because mooting and debate needs you to be a very, very wide. They need you to have a very wide knowledge, and that knowledge is not only law, but you can connect with whatever happened today with whatever happened around the world. So this is why I said you do mooting, you stimulate your brain, because you start to look, okay, who is the scholars in the field and what he wrote or she wrote. So you must know that not all the people in international law are actually a same person. We know that if you're talking about international academic law, you have Hashim Qureshi. When you're talking about international law, you have Jackson. You have all those names. If you're talking about international development, we have Amy Chua from Stanford and Harvard. So everyone carry their own weightage where they bring their expertise. So you need to know what are their right, what they are writing, and then they're writing whether it's very useful for you to do your memorials or not. So it's a lot of work to do. Yeah. So normally we know that the student who doing the registered mode, they will have their own room. We will give them all the facilities and also internet access and the photocopy whatsoever they want. That I think we know that they need their own time. So that's why many of the students sometimes until midnight they are still at the faculty, because they really need to ensure that whatever they write in their memorials is a really touch on the issue and being proved by a very strong evidence. So if you are the one that don't want to sacrifice your time, jet mood is not for you. Okay. And secondly, you can also join another debate or another meeting regarding human rights. For example, Law Asia. So Law Asia for me is quite straightforward. It's really talking about human rights, but you must have the fundamentals human rights knowledge. Yeah, because definition of human rights is a different each country. Yeah, very different. Some country, that's why international scholar, when they're talking about international human rights, they said actually none of other country can determine or can tell you what is the index or what you're supposed to do with human rights in your country. Okay, I take example. I read many times regarding the conflict between Indonesia and Papua. Papua asked for autonomy. And of course, Indonesia would not allow Papua to be independent because Papua is in Indonesia. So there are so many articles, there are so many at YouTube are talking about the brutalities of Indonesian army towards the Papua rebellions or the Papua people. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, because you know that media can become so untrustworthy. So we don't know. It is what we hear. So when you want to, if that kind of question regarding human right you get, you cannot simply say, oh yes, my country are not respect the human right. International scholars already said the level, the acceptance, and the practice of human right is not by the international to measure. I cannot define to other countries. It's the country to define. So in Indonesia, what type of human rights that you practice? Okay, in Malaysia, we have a problem because we are not in terms of freedom to religion. This is a very controversy in Malaysia. If you're talking about freedom to religion, especially when you're talking about Muslim want to convert to another religion, we really not allow that things happen. Because in our ID is already put Islam. Religion are being put inside IC. So our IC, if they're whatever religion you are, they will put on your IC. So if you want to convert to be a Muslim, it's okay. But if a Muslim want to convert to another religion, that's definitely a big no. So you can be charged under the Sharia law, according to each state in Malaysia. So how you want to answer the question from the Western perspective? Because for Western perspective, religion is a freedom of choice. But we don't give that. Okay. If you're looking at the if you are really talking about the fundamentals human right, if in my country we cannot agree this thing to be right in our memorials, we have to say that actually whatever it is, we actually have to follow, because human right in Malaysia, we respect the human rights, but until today, the rights for the transsexuals are not being recognized. For example, many of the women or the men who now turn to be women, they ask and challenge at the court that they said their sex from the ID should be changed. If they don't want male anymore, they want female on that. And if they are Muslim, it's even trouble, because they have to get they have to go for the civil high court, and the normally civil will turn down and say this is not my jurisdiction, it's the jurisdiction of Sharia court. So you go back to Sharia court. You think the Sharia court will allow these people to change from male to female? No, no. So that's why somehow or other, when you go to the counter, you look, there is a woman there, but when you open the IC is a man. And they become a jokes, you know. Sometimes I think people become means to this group. You know, when, for example, my experience at the immigration, there is one transsexual, because looking at her is really her for me. So suddenly they call his name, which is Malay Muslim name, and this particular person go. So everyone at that this counter waiting for their names to be called for renew the passport was like, huh? Like that. So I think, oh, you know, that you can see people like, oh, ponda, you know the words. Oh, okay, they call it, these people in Malaysia, ponda, maknya, you name it, all this thing. What is the mean? So it's embarrassed the person, because the people, the society is so like, oh, what is this? So I think we can't at the same time prejudice to this group, but at the same time international give you yourself to measure and to determine what is the meaning of human rights. So in Malaysia, even though we have the right to critics, you know, the freedom of speech, the freedom of movement, but now we are all locked down already. We are not free to move. And for example, also, if you're talking about not only you have been locked down, that also regarding the freedom of expression. You can express yourself, but you cannot condemn the kings. If you're talking about to condemn the king, then they will come and arrest you. That's why in Malaysia, yes, there is human right, but there is a limit. So they say you can't just simply do whatever you want to do. You must respect the majority. So in this case, what I can say, it makes like if you go for the debate or for mooting regarding human right, you must be very careful, because at the same time, you also must show what is the standard that normally third world country have. You know, and I'm not mentioned about the Arab countries where the track record is very bad. So there's another issue. So meaning, in terms of human rights, it's so many scholars, it's so many debates, it's so many questions pop up by people. What is actually human right? So for me, human right is not only when you're alive, when you are still not yet born, you have a right to live. So again, the abortion become an issue. How to put it in writing? How to put in writing? In Malaysia, illegal abortion is illegal, totally illegal. And if you found out you perform that, whether doctor or the personal people, you will be prosecuted under penal code because it's a crime. I don't know in Indonesia, but in Malaysia, it's a penal code which is bring you to the criminal charges. But people are still do the illegal abortion. As long you know which doctor that can do, you can go and ask. And normally, the doctor will perform, because they will take a money according to how long that you're pregnant. Some doctors are very brave, even 6 months, 7 months also they take it. But it's there with the dates, I mean, you know, the complication. But there is a case. So you see, if you want to write a memorial or you want to do something regarding the international human right, you must understand your country first, because not all your right you have to follow the Western perspective. Even in Western perspective, right to abortion also they divide into two groups. The Christian Catholics say no, but the others say yes. Yeah, so this is the two things that I think you have to look if you want to write. So if you understand the human right, then you can go to any of the meetings of all the debates regarding human right. But you must know the facts. That's why I said a very basic human right, basic international law must have to add from to all the students that really want to do the international competition. Because if you don't have that, you don't know what to say. You don't know what to discuss. And it's going to be a very difficult. Okay, and last but not least, if whatever it is things that you have, you must relate back with the power of the country and also what is the surrounding happen. I take example, like for example, since yesterday we have the ASEAN meeting through Zoom. Previously, all people will go to the country where become the having the chairmanship of the ASEAN, which is today. I think this year is Vietnam. But since everyone cannot travel, so they're all doing by Zoom. I can say that very, very much why it's so important, because today, I think my Minister of Foreign Affairs said that whoever having a problem at South China Sea, they must first have the unity among ASEAN countries first. So if ASEAN are not, unite, how you want to talking about the South China Sea? So that's why during your practice, you do your meetings preparation, always you have to understand that who is the scholar behind that, and if it a scholar behind that, is it he or she talking about what you want to write? And if it's so, yeah, you have to be very careful, because for me, whatever you write in your uh, memorial, it can tarnish you back, because if you only follow the if you just only follow what is the Western perspective, because you read the books and also journals, that is sometimes is not like what you're supposed to. Because for me, I believe that the student is really able to differentiate what is the Western thing is okay, but what is us thing are not okay. As I said, freedom of religion, freedom of speech. In US, you can see many people give the middle finger to Trump when he want to leave from that place, that particular place. So what is it? Because for American people, that is okay. That is okay. There's no problem. I want to say that you are really don't do your job, so I want to curse you with this obscene gesture. Okay, you do it. But in Malaysia, you can't do that. Once you do that, then you'll be arrested. So that's a two. That's why I said the freedom of expression in US cannot be implemented in my country. Maybe also cannot be implemented in your country. So the good things we can follow, but the bad things you can't. So that's why when you want to go for the debate, before the not only debate, the meeting, you must know the fact, and you must read a lot. You cannot simply just oh, this is what I thought. This is what I thought. No, it's not about your thought. You must be very clear, because you want to open your mouth in front of a judges, or in front of public to bring your case. So if you don't have the attitude, the talent, the braveness to say that, a couple with the evidence from the law case and also any law regarding that, then how you want to perform your group? And in doing meeting and also any activities, you need to be united, and you need to work together. Cannot one people work together and the others just looking at what she or he want to do. No, you must work all together. That's how you bring your team very strong. Because I might read and see this thing one, you might read the same, but you see 2-3 things inside. So the more the more friend that you have to sit down, the more group, then there will be more better. That's why for me, very important, if you really have this kind of group, you need to ensure that the university or the faculty support you with the facility. And also, at least if you have many students, you can start to bring the other student. They're not going to actually present to the debate or to the meeting, but they can become a group of researchers. What I do in my faculty, I have the group of students that will become a mooters or the debater. But I have also a group that's very good in research. So they will help their mooters friend. They will help they themselves were doing the research for that. So at least the debater can have peace of mind and the better feel free, whereas he have a group work to find a more. That is a practice by the most of a university that won an international competition. They have the group of debaters and the mooters, but at the same time they have the group of a student that don't want to present but will help the group with all the research works. Then you are very strong. That's why for me, you need to tell your friends, or you need to giving an awareness of all the people regarding why they need to join the student activities. You cannot just simply go to class, go back home or to the college or residential college and finish there. No, you will lose the time as a law student. The law student is the time where you can enjoy as many as activity that is really specific to the law student, like mooting and the competition. The other competition, they might, can give to other people to do. But Jessup Moot, Law Asia, or any other prestigious competition, we need to take part. Even though you know that you're going to be tired, but that is the best. My own experience, I start my Jessup Moot when I was first year. You might be wondering, what lah you doing in the first year? You know nothing. I asked my student, yeah, because you are first year student. What do you know about international law? Even Malaysian law also you don't pass, you don't know. But my determination is that if I don't go in that group with my senior, then I don't know what is international law. Third year to wait is too long. So what I did, I joined them. I become like just like taking care of their things, books and all that at the beginning. But then I have a lecturer, at that time Australian lecturer, who teach this group. So I sat at the back and I study international law by looking at them. Then I know, okay, international is supposed to be this, to be that, because the lecturer is giving more understanding to the debaters. Good. Then when I become second year, I appear in the group, but I'm not yet mooters. They are just give me like the mooters number 4, mooters number 3. I'm not appear, but I part of researcher and part of the debater, the mooters. When I was third year, after 2 years with that group, then they allow me to be a mooters, but with a very strict standard. I have to prove that and my understanding. I have to prove that I really need to work hard. I'm willing to stay up. So all this kind of thing. Yes. So third year and final year, I went for the competition and I'm lost. We not win. But one thing that I learned from the student activities, first, how to build your confidence. Second, how to become when your bomb is exploded in front of you. For example, if you do the Jessup Moot, you don't know what is the judges in front of you will ask. When you are still talking to give your statement, suddenly they said, counsel, stop. Can I ask you a question? Then you always have to calm, relax. You cannot like, okay, oh, I don't know what to do. No, you have to calm, okay? What's in your mind to cheat this judge? Because sometimes you don't know what you're going to do with that. That's why I say if you understand the law is okay, then you can understand, you can answer the judge very well. That's it. Then thirdly, is how as a mooters, as a lecturer, as a student that at that time that involved with many competition, I have to bring myself. I start to know how to dress nicely. Nicely, I mean, it's not I'll ask you to dress all the branded item. No, meaning capable that people will know that, oh, okay, this is our debater, this is our mooters. People know that. And I think to build the confidence is very important among the debaters. Their confidence means the level of confidence is different from others because you are in the competition and all the opponents are also best. So you need to be calm, to take stress in a good way. Okay. And I think when you pass with that, you pass with the way how you bring yourself. You know that how you handle yourself in front of a public. And last but not least, it's make you are more multitasking because you are student. You cannot skip your class. You need to be in your class, but at the same time, you also have to do research for your mooting and also your debating. So I think this is how you handle your time very, very well. So many things I learned is how to make myself different from my friend. How I most struggle because I have to go to the class, but at the same time I have to do my mooting. So it makes me have to schedule my time very, very well so that I would not lose my education, but at the same time I also cannot miss my lovely co-curriculum. So I get all when during my final year, and until my final year. The only thing is I don't have a time to be a couple. I don't have a boyfriend when I was a student. And I feel why I want to say this because I've got one friend before. She's very talented in English debate. I asked her to join us. Unfortunately, she said that to me, I cannot because my boyfriend said I cannot join. Then I just want to slap her face. I said, how stupid you are. Your boyfriend are not your husband. Even husband, you can divorce. What else, boyfriend? So suddenly This my friend say, no, cannot. I don't want to hurt him. Another stupid. So I said, okay, you go with your stupidity. Then we are pulled with my friend. Then we do it. We manage to be in many competition, because not only Jessup Mood, I also go for my Law Asia and also the normal local debates and mooting. I enjoy it very well. I make myself that I have to know many things in a short time, but how to present very good within seven minutes. Because normally when you are debate something in Malaysia, okay, we give you 7 minutes to deliver all. That's why it's a very important for you to deliver in a certain time. Do not go beyond the word. Just go straight to what the things you want to talk. So that's why sometimes, for me, you give me how many hours, then I will make sure that I make sure all that things inside that. Where I get this kind of thing, I get it back 20 years ago, or 23 years ago, when I developed this skill at the Faculty of Law. So for those who want to follow the boyfriend, the girlfriend, thank you very much. If you can marry him, I congratulations. Like my friend, at the end, after 6 years, not married at all. He married someone else, and the guy married somebody else. How stupid it is, I said. You know, and me myself, I get married also. So I'm not single. I get married. I got the kids. So I get all. So that's why I said, see, who will lose that opportunity is you. Why bother with people? You do something that you want to do, you know, that can give you confidence, that create you to another level, because people need to see you. So when you go for any interview, you say you are from which, you graduate from where? I'm a graduate from Ponegoro. So when you open your mouth, people want to listen to you. People say, okay, yes. I always look at the talents like that. The problem that I see in my own student is the way the art of communication fail. Law student but looking down. Law student but don't know nothing. Law student who don't ask the question. Law student who just quiet. Then you can go to another faculty. You can go to engineering. I say engineering, you don't need to talk. You just do whatever it is. But in law faculty, this is what we do. You need to talk, you need to give an opinion, you need to critique, you need to condemn if you have to do so, and you correct the person. And you yourself are very easy to accept what people want to hear about you. No, you cannot just simply talk about other people, but then when people critique you, you're angry. For me, I'm relaxed, because in Malaysia, people don't like to critique you. People love to condemn you and kill you. This is the ASEAN way of action. They don't want to. No, you look at it. You know, we always say, okay, I want to talk to my student. I don't like to condemn people. For me, because I'm not a perfect person. But in Malaysia, if we try to say, oh, actually, you are wrong, we want to. Who are you to tell me like that? I know myself because I'm blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. So for me, if people want to criticize me, I'm okay. But normally people don't criticize me. They condemn and then try to kill me. So I said, no, you are not my level lah. Sorry. Then you go lah. You may be not my level because I already fly high and you are still thinking, where is my wing? Where is my wing? No, you just become a chicken. No problem. I already eager. Bye. Simple. That's why I cannot wait for people to, oh, wait, I was thinking, but wait. So my attitude is I want to progress. And I want to see my student, no matter where they are, even in Indonesia, even in Malaysia, even in Thailand, I want them to progress. And you come back to me and say, doctor, I progress like this. And I'm very happy to see that. Because for me, I contribute something. Maybe for people 1 hour, what can you contribute to the student association for 1 hour? Nothing. For me, I can contribute something by ensure that they correct how they handle themselves at first. Maybe after this, you will look at your face from head to toe. Okay, I might have to change my hairstyle. I need to be more confident. Maybe my glasses need to be changed. Maybe my haircut, maybe the way I dress myself. You know, like I said to you, it's not about to buy a branded item. It's about to buy a correct items to be suit with yourself. But the more important is how to bring yourself out. It's like you sing. I know Indonesian student know how to sing. You see the Indonesian contestant, right? In any singing competition, whether Singapore will out early, followed by Brunei, and then by Malaysia, and then later on others. But Indonesia and Philippines will always at the final. Why? Because you already have this kind of art since you were small. So that's why I have my when I was in Bali, I bring one tourist guide with me. She just a normal face, you know, like other Indonesian normal girl. That night we went for the karaoke. She take the mic and she sing. I was like, why you are sound like Chris Dayanti? Why you are so good? And she said, it's not good. This is just my voice. My God, you are good voice. I said, and suddenly I want to sing Rosa's song and I feel embarrassed. So I cancel. Because why? Because I don't know how to sing, but I want to. So this is I said, see, the Indonesian people, they have maybe they're from small, singing is a part of the curriculum. So give you the mic, you can sing. But Malaysia, no. Because for us, everything is haram. Take a bribe, okay, but singing is haram. So when you sing is haram, everything is haram. You condemn. Sometimes I feel very sad to see the singer, you know, in Malaysia. They just have what little bit short skirt. I watch Indonesian channel through Astro because I paid for the channel. So I know the Sinetron and all that. I watching that the all those things. So I saw also your entertainment program. It's so pleasant. Why? Because in Indonesia there is no dress code. So I see the dandut singer with a very short skirt, singing and dancing, erotic thing, and no problem. In Malaysia, even the singer have even the sleeveless, she can be punished. Even she's wearing this little bit short skirt up on her knee, then after that, netizen will turn crazy. What is this? You are Muslim. What is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? So for me, as a debaters, as a student societies, you bring the positive vibes to people. You cannot enforce people, you cannot force people follow us, but you can always spread a good attitudes, very skillful person. You can always help the new student to develop themselves. So I think that's how we progress. Not all the time you critique, condemn. But I hate my country because you don't. That's why in my Facebook, I don't put any achievement anymore. I let them think I'm stupid. Because if I put that, then suddenly they say, how come? How come this lady can become a visiting professors at Undip? How come? I'm more better than her. So that kind of thing come. So I said no need. So I just let them think I'm stupid and don't do anything. Whereas I'm very busy every day from morning to night. So I think I keep myself because the one that feel happy is us, not them. And remember, people not happy to see you progress. People happy when you come up to them and say, I'm depressed. I want to kill myself. Then they say, yeah, kill yourself better. Because I don't have any competitor anymore. So I want to end it here because I want to give you, if you have any question to me, I think when you do all the activities regarding the student, spread a positive vibe, be a good to everyone, but change yourself and relax. If people say bad about you, no problem. That's mean you are better than them. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for sharing your experience and the knowledge. It is truly insightful for us and those who wants to start joining international meeting. And as a law student, it's important for us to keep up with the real life knowledge and from the news and how law applies in that case. Therefore, it's really important for us to join at least once in our study year that uh, the mooting competition. Based from my experience as the delegates of JSUP last year, it is true that we need to do a lot of sacrifice, lots of readings, journals, books, and judgment. And it is true that it will need a lot of time. And we also hope it will motivate the JSUP delegates for this year, which are also already participating in this meeting. And they may have some question to be asked in later session. And also, regarding the student association itself, in Universitas Diponegoro, we have a student association in the field of mooting for both in national and international mooting, which is known as UKM Pseudo Respra. And for that, maybe Fikri would like to share from the perspective of the student association.
Okay. Thank you for Rama. And before I introduce my organization, our organization about the meeting, let me introduce my name. And my name is Fikri Medina. There's Resti as a staff, and Veronia, Vanessa, a lot of senior Sprague staff in this meeting. And then, can I share my PowerPoint, Rama?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, can you see my screen now? Hello. Oke, UKMF Studio Respak Fakultas Hukum Universitas Diponegoro. Brief history of Studio Respak. Studio Respak is a moot court community. Was founded under the Faculty of Law Undip, established in 2006 with the first name Moot Court Community, founded by Aditya Wirawan, with the aim of providing a forum for law students to study legal material through a moot court competition. On 2nd July 2007, Moot Court Community was approved as one of the UKMF's organization within the Faculty of Law of University Diponegoro by Prof. Dr. Arif Hidayat SIMH, who at the time served as the Dean of Faculty of Law Undip. And in 2008, Moot Court Community changed its name to Shadow Resprac, which literally means Moot Court. Moot Court. So there is a 6 department in Shadow Resprac. There is a Human Resource Development Department, International Moot Court Department, Entrepreneur Department, Litigation Department, Event Organization Department, Public Relation Department. So in Shadow Resprac, there is a 2 department who organize a meeting. The first is the litigation department, department that accommodate the entire academic community of Fakultas Hukum Undip, especially mean of UKMF Studio Resprac, to be able to participate in national mooting, in national moot court competition, with the aim providing intelligence and insight skill and in the field of litigation. So litigation department, the department organized national moot court, and international moot court department. The department is responsible for international moot court activities, which is platform for Undip law faculty student, especially for Shadow Respak member to be able to develop their potential and to regenerate and deepen their knowledge, especially in the field of international law. So in international moot court department, okay, so in international moot court department, organized about JSAP and Asia Cup. And Shadow my achievement in the last years, third place and best paper NMCC Abdul Kahar Muzakir 7 Universitas Islam Indonesia 2017, and third place best paper NMCC Bulog Sumur for Universitas Gajah Mada 2018, and exhibition team for international round of IMCC Pilisi Jasa 2019, 7 best oralis IMCC Pilisi Jasa 2019, and second place and best paper NMCC Abdul Kahar Muzakir 8 Universitas Islam Indonesia. I think that's enough for me to explain about our organization and mooting in our organization. I give it to moderator. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Fikri. So UKMF Shadow Resprac is one of the student association that specifically deals with the national and international mooting. And while we have a lot of experience in the national mooting, like the one that Fikri has presented, that we have won lots of awards. The international meeting department is pretty much new, and we still need a lot of experience, and therefore this sharing session might be a chance for us to gather experience and knowledge from Professor. Uh, so because this is a discussion, therefore the participant can ask a question or maybe just sharing the experience in the JESUP. Here we have Veronia Safiera, Tasha, Retno, Vanessa, and Christina, which is also most of them are the delegates for this year's JESUP. And maybe we can start asking the question.
Hello, Professor. Hello, can I ask a question now? Okay, so since you already talked about the human rights, I know that maybe it will out of context, uh, depend on what you already say to us, but I actually want to ask about the human rights. So, yeah, it is according to the JSUP case now. So I will tell the case first. So, yeah, there is an authorized aircraft that is supposed to be a terrorist attack, but turn out it is a civilian aircraft, and the country already shot down the aircraft, and yeah, the aircraft is piled down, and then it takes two persons on board, and all of them is dead. And I want to ask a questions about the human rights in here. Is the violations of right to life of the two persons on board is a proportionate to the act, because the country just want to protect its country from the terrorism attack, but turns out it is not supposed to be a terrorist attack. Uh, can I, is it justified to, yeah, the violations of right to life of two persons proportionate to the actions of the protection to the, yeah, to the collective human right? That's all from me.
Yes, I think I understand what you mentioned just now, but you have to understand that the state have a responsibility to protect. Yeah, so if the country acting like that, it's not wrong, because as you said that we at that short time we don't know whether is it terrorist attack or not, but it's to be caution. It's better the country do what they're supposed to do to protect the people. So of course we question about the right of the two people, but we have to also remember that there is so many people others who will be innocent if there is an attack by the terrorists. So what is the action taken by this country is actually legal. It cannot, you cannot blame that unless the country got the information another way around. For example, they know that it's not a terrorist attack, but they don't want to be responsible. That's how they act. That one's wrong. But if the country do not know, and the country is really under international law regarding state responsibility, they must protect their people. So they do their best to ensure that all the other people at this at large need to be protected. So what they do at this moment is a right. It's a right, seriously. It can be accepted.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
Okay, so yeah, the delegates may ask, will be mostly asking about the cases for these years, which one of them is about the asylum, uh, asylum seeking or the asylum seeker case. Uh, so maybe anyone wants to ask about.
Hello, Professor. So my name is Resti. I'm very sorry currently because I am still in my internship for a place, so it's kind of busy. But in terms of the topics of today, this year's chess stuff, actually, there are topics that are discussing about the diplomatic asylum, which is actually customary international law that haven't been recognized yet by international society. So the implementations of it is kind of shady in our perspective because we don't have that ideas on how to actually put that into works. And while after our research, also we just knew that professor is actually having a really thorough thoughts about the refugee and things like this. So we really want your insights about how actually diplomatic asylum could be implemented in certain cases like that, Professor. Thank you.
Diplomatic asylum is actually normally done by the people who do not have any title to be a refugees. For example, like me, Malaysia, for example, I have a good job in Malaysia. I don't have any problem, but I think I have a problem with certain politician in my country. So I can go to, when I still in my position, I might attend any conference or might attend any things by the government of Indonesia. But later on, I claim a political asylum. Because I think I don't want to go back to Malaysia, because if I go back to Malaysia, I might be killed. You know, but I'm not like not the person that involved in politics or opposition, but I think I'm more on the basis that I might not happy with a certain policy that my government uh, done. So if I critique them, I might be in danger. So the best is I ask for the diplomatic asylum, meaning that I have a good position, I can contribute to the country that I have for asylum. So I just use the this kind of, rather than I just ask for the political asylum. So that normally not many people write regarding the diplomatic asylum. In the book also they don't discuss that much. And certain selected book only, but normally the political asylum, yes, but the diplomatic asylum very rare. But you need to find an articles that have discussion on the diplomatic asylum. Then if you write, you will see there is a cases, the other cases maybe long time cases, but there is a cases that can bring your case more stronger.
Thank you, Professor, for the great answers.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Professor, I actually want to ask about a more general question. So we know that in most of the JSOC claims or international muting in general, sometimes the rule of law that can be applied is very wide. Sometimes sometimes there is a certain claim that is very wide that we don't know if this is the applicable rule that can be applied in this case. And do we know that our research is actually going to the correct way for the particular claim itself?
You're talking, you're asking regarding how you can do research correctly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Research, okay. If we depends 100% from the muters to do the research, that would not be enough. Of course, the muters have to know, but if you ask them to write on the memorial at the same time to do all those kind of research, you know, it's still still not enough. You need a group of students that they are not just but that very good international willing to help you. They will be as your, okay, this is what I practice, okay, this is the things, that is how is it. Yeah, so this is for me, this is like for me how to ensure that, because if many people will be maybe your lecturer can tell you what is the problem for that year, so this research group can go deep into all of the issue. So, and plus with you, then you can get many information to be right in your memorial and also to present. But you need a group. to do the research only for the JSEP researcher. Mutters.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Professor.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who want to ask?
Hello, Professor. So maybe because the delegates and everyone hasn't asked anything yet, I'm gonna ask about the issues in regards to crimes that can be brought as diplomatic asylum crimes. Is it possible that the violations of human rights in terms of uh, letting people being shaded by the fact that pandemic is going on is part of the violations of human rights and therefore can be concluded as a crime that can be taken in terms of these diplomatic asylum cases, Professor?
Yes, can. Because the scenario is that the scenario that we don't know, like this COVID, we don't know. So it can be, no problem. But only thing you need to get the cases that talking about it.
All right, thank you, Professor.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anyone else who want to ask?
Hello, Professor. I want to ask something about the political crime. Uh, Actually, how to define whether a crime can be considered as a political one or just a common crime in terms of let's say insulting the president. How to define that into a political crime or a common crime?
Political crime. The issue of political crime is a many issue. There is a few categories under the political crimes. You need to look one by one. You need to, for me, you need to differentiate the action that classified under the political crime. And that political crime must be the motive of politics. They must derive from the issues of the politics, whether it's from opponent to government or government to the opposition. So you have to go deep on that definition. Then you can relate with what is the case one, because it is a very fundamental. If you understand that, then you look, is it whatever that the said but under the political crime criminals is actually same like what your case is facing at that moment.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
Okay, welcome.
Hello, Professor. I want to ask two questions. The first one is regarding on military activities of the state. Is there any difference between law enforcement and military activities, especially on Air Force? And the second one would be in the situation after the occurrence of the 9/11 attack. Is there any international law that's permitted the use of armed force or the use of force before the armed attack happened? I think especially it refers to the anticipatory self-defense. Thank you.
Okay. I think use of force in this case is very basic. It's happen when the way to diplomatic way fail, and they must the condition is must have the provocation, and that provocation is cannot be weighed, meaning that the way they provoke you need to to show with the weapons. That one is a clear, I guess, that things, because actually many of country after 11 September they don't wait for that. Many are start with the illegal war, especially US did to Iraq, to Afghanistan, and then also the NATO did to Libya. So I think people are more talking about the superpower instead of international law. So people, you see that the status quo of US, it makes them feel okay to do, so they don't respect the international law. Even I think until today we know that the Iraq war done by US and Britain and everything is actually illegal war. So after 11 September, the scenario is worse actually. People don't respect the use of force, but the only ICRC are the one who try to protect the innocent people. So I think the provocation must come from many angles. Not only from the Air Force or from Land Force or from Navy. Any action done by the country that can threaten another country, and that another country cannot look like, we cannot talk anymore. This is something that we have to work on it. Then that's happened. So I think that's you have to look what is the action after that. So I think nowadays they don't follow. They just do because of the status quo.
Thank you, Professor. I want to ask a follow-up question. Regarding the regional use of force, is there any international law that is regulating about the internal use of force within one state? And if yes, will the use of force that just happen within the territory of one state, especially in the situation where there is a threat of terrorist attack, will it be justified, or is there any international that will justify the act of use of force that is not threatening another state? Thank you.
That one is no, actually it's not. We don't have that, because if you look at the use of force, they must have the provocation, as I said just now. So if there is no provocation, but you know that there is dangers that come to your country, first you must using I think the diplomatic way and the sharing information. But if you fail to do that, then I think there will be the war, but the war that will give more consequences, because I think that is not the good, but it's the bad one. So I think the country have a right to do that, but normally the traditional way, and also according to the cases, normally the countries try to talk diplomatic way first. If not work, then they can do that again, because they want to protect their country, their sovereignty. It happened, and it can.
One last question. Well, is the act of use of force can be justified as an act of sovereignty by that state?
Any act of force is really, you can say that if it give a harm. Give a harm. I mean, slapping someone is not use of force. But if you start with a weapon, you start when the long range missile, yes, it is. Yes. So you have to look at the weapons, the action, and that one you can classify it as the act of use of force.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor. Is there anyone else want to ask, since we still have 15 minutes left in this session?
Professor, I want to ask. So when I researched about political offense, I found that there are two types of political offense, the pure political offense and relative political offense.
And I also found that there is an exception where the political offender cannot be extradited to their native country. So my question is, this exception, is it only applied to the offender that is committing the crime of pure political crimes, or is it can be applied to the offender that is committing the relative political crime? Thank you.
Okay, I think actually why is the political crime cannot be extradited back to the native country? Because he or she will be killed because they run away because of the political differences. But in the relative way, we have to see, we have to give a weight on that case, whether it can be fall under the first one or it's just relative. Because you have to understand, when people run away from the country, people are because they have something that make them threat. You know, it's not because simply they want to run away for enjoyment, no. So you have to look at the situation, whether it is can fall into the first or not.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Is there anyone who still want to ask? Maybe one last question from me, Professor, about what constitutes as a good memo? How to what makes a certain memo become the best memorials in every international noting competition?
Can you you ask a question, right?
Yes, Professor.
Rama, you asked the question. You asked the question. Okay,
Yes.
can you say it again?
Oh yeah. So what constitutes as good memorials? Good memo.
Oh, good. Okay. Actually, there is no measurement to know what is the good. But from my experience, the good memorial is not about the thickness of that memorial. It's the weight of the cases and the most relevant facts that you put to answer the question. That's why I said you need a group of researcher, because the more people research, the more quantity you get. Because if not, it will be good but not that much. So the good one is not about how thick it is. Don't be worried when see another university being thick. Thick doesn't mean heavy. Sometimes thick is nothing. But just make your own style, but you put all the relevant, latest, and the discussion is really according to the question. That's important. But you need to have a group of researchers to help you to do that.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
Okay.
Is there anyone else want to ask?
Can I ask one last question?
Yeah.
This is regarding JSUP in general. So this year's JSUP competition will be held online. I just want to know, from your point of view, what are the advantage or disadvantages, and especially, well, not especially, like, how is the team on your university handling the situation? That's it. Thank you.
If you're talking about the advantage, disadvantage, I think actually the more of my students who join the JSUP, whether they win or not, they are different from others. They are more articulate. They are more have attitudes, and they are more critical, because the way they are being trained to understand the question, to dig and do the research, it makes them really because they don't have a time, you know, to do all those nonsense things. So they are really, you know, that this is a debater, because the way they bring themselves. And so the advantage is, I see they are more articulate, they are more talented, and they're more easy to get a job because they already get used with the system, with the research things. I think the disadvantage is it's like they don't have enough time for themselves, because they really need to do all things accordingly. So they sacrifice that. When some other student maybe go before COVID, went for cinema and all that, they don't go for it. They are really still with the research. But I think later on they are very okay, because when they join the industry, they already get a good position because of the I can say the discipline and also the exercise that they get during the meetings. So it's a very important.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Achal, do you still want to ask maybe follow-up question? No? Anyone else? We still got 9 minutes left. Grace, maybe you want to ask question? Okay. So since there are no further question, therefore we can close the session. Thank you, Professor Salawati, for the sharing of the knowledge and the experience, and we hope it will be a motivation for this JSOP competition in Universitas Diponegoro and international meeting in general. And before we close this meeting, maybe Professor, you can have the closing statement.
I think for those who are already involved in mooting and debating, go ahead, do your best. Even though you not win, but actually you gain something, which is experience. And experience cannot trade in with money. Experience will be there for you forever to be a better person. So all the best to all of you.
Thank you, Professor. And therefore, it concludes today's sharing session with Professor Salawati. And we'll see you in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.